Income planning, investment management, taxes, all of that goes into secure your retirement. And the expert is with me now. He is to my left. He is Mr. Marcus Warren of Warren Wealth Management. Marcus, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
See, what I love about Marcus, and we talk about this often, that I can throw anything at him. And today we're going to throw your questions at Marcus. It's a segment that we call Ask Marcus. So, Marcus, I'm going to go directly from your website, ask you a few questions. Are you ready, sir?
I am ready. Let's do this.
Do you feel like you're on a game show?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Then that's my final answer.
All right, there we go. Here's the first question. It says, I'm planning on retiring at the end of the year, but now I'm nervous. With everything going on in our country and the crazy stock market, should I just put my retirement savings in cash? This comes from Joanne of Louisville. All right, we are asking Marcus. You know, I guess I understand where she's coming from. There's a lot of folks out there a little scared.
Yeah, you know, people are nervous and scared right now. And really, you know, the worst thing you can do now is to try to pull everything out and put it in cash. One is, you know, the market. We've kind of entered that bear market territory where the market's been down pretty significantly, consistently. And so you'd be kind of locking in those losses, so you don't want to do that. And really, and plus you can't time the market. Even if you do take your money out, people don't know when to get back in, and it never works out. But when we're talking about retirement, retirement is all about income. You have to make sure that you have income that's going to last as long as you do, and it's going to be there. And so what I basically have seen is people who don't have an income plan and the market starts to get shaky, they want to pull it all out because they're pulling income from it. But what they should basically do is the money that they need right out of the gate of retirement, between 1 to 3 years, that should already be safe, where it's not subject to the ebbs and flows of the market, because that's what you're going to need to live on that first 1 to 3 years out of retirement. Then the rest of it should be invested in some sort of growth-oriented investments, you know, possibly the stock market, where over time we know that eventually the market will turn and it's going to get better. So I would not take it out and just put it under my mattress, so to speak.
There we go. And it is cyclical, the market. We all understand that.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
Absolutely.
Next question up. Ask Marcus. It says, I just spent over $100 to fill up my tank, and I don't remember ever spending that much money for gas. Why is inflation so crazy right now, and is there an end in sight? This comes from Ronnie of New Albany. Boy, I tell you what, I look at that number, $100 to fill my tank, and I go, yeah, I think a lot of people are experiencing just that.
Yeah, I mean, my daughter asked me recently about inflation, like, Dad, hey, when is this inflation thing going to be over? You know, and I'm like, that's a very good question, but you know, there's a lot of reasons why we have inflation, of course. You know, and inflation is at 40-year highs, so you have almost this you know, perfect storm of things that have happened. We had the $5 trillion of stimulus money coming into the economy, which people had money to spend, so demand went up. You also had supply chain issues, right? The war in Ukraine, and so you're seeing these prices creep up and up and up. And you know, it's difficult right now for a lot of consumers out there. And then also we have what's called the wage price spiral. So because prices are going up, workers are wanting higher wages. And when an employer gives them those higher wages, what do? They tend to raise their prices to keep up with the fact that now they're paying their workers higher wages. And so you have this wage price spiral, which also ends up driving that inflation up. And so really what, you know, the best way to combat inflation is, you know, to make sure that you have growth investments in your portfolio that can keep up with inflation. Now, inflation is at record highs right now, but you do need to have that growth portion in that portfolio.
All right. Once again, it's Ask Marcus, and here's the next question. My current retirement savings are invested 50% in equities and 50% in bonds, but my accounts are still down significantly this year. How can that be when I have so much in bond funds? This comes from Jim of Crestwood. Good question, Jim. All right. Have at it, Marcus.
So I was talking about a perfect storm, right? And this is one of those times where we have this perfect storm, this unfortunate perfect storm of investments. And so right now the stock market's at all-time highs, and now it's starting to come back a lot, right? So the stock market is starting to go down. Interest rates have been at historical lows, right? And now we're starting to see the Fed start to raise these interest rates. And generally speaking, when the stock market started to go down, you could jump to bonds, some fixed income, and be safe. However, and Jim's asking the question of, hey, I have bond funds, and why are my bond funds going down too? Because bonds and interest rates have an inverse relationship. So as interest rates start to go up, the value of those bonds start to go down, kind of like those old school teeter-totters or seesaws,
gotcha.
right? And so that's what you're seeing. So as interest rates go up, you're going to see the value of those bonds go down. So that's why he is seeing those bond funds go down just as well as his stock market investments.
I had no idea. It's good information.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Ask Marcus. It says, I know you're supposed to buy in a down market, but how do we know whether this is the bottom? What if I buy and still lose money? Good question, Laura. Laura's from Louisville. Okay, Marcus, I think a lot of people are asking that. You know,
Right.
When's the right time? If you knew that, though, I guess you'd be you'd be a soothsayer millionaire, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I was going to say that. You know, it's tough because I don't have a crystal ball. No one does. And yes, you are supposed to, you know, buy low. And how do you know if it's going to go down any further? You don't, but you just have to understand that these things are cyclical, just like you said. And so, you know, one of the things that individual investors do that's unfortunate is they tend to get caught up in their emotions. Two emotions that drive the market are fear and greed. Right now, with the market being the way it is a buying opportunity. Unfortunately, people are fearful, and those emotions, people don't like buying things when they feel bad, right? And it's tough to look at the market and see that it's been down and down and down, and then you want to buy into it. But that's exactly what you need to do, buy low and sell high. People like buying when they feel good, and when do they feel good? They feel good when the market is up and it's going up and up and up, and you get into, and if you go by those emotions, you get into this perpetual cycle of buying high and selling low. But you can't do that. You have to understand that we do have these dips. They're always expected. And even though it might not feel good to put money in the market right now, it's probably a good idea. You'll be thanking yourself long term.
So you're saying despite the economy, there are opportunities there.
Always.
And with strategies from Warren Wealth Management, you can take advantage of that. Okay, so next up, how do I know when I have saved enough to retire? I had planned on retiring at the beginning of 2022, but decided to work another 6 months. Now my retirement accounts are down, and I think I need to continue working. How do I decide when to finally retire? This is a question I bet you're hearing a lot, so thank you for the question. That's a good one, and it's from Mike of Clarksville.
Yeah, so how do you know if you've saved enough to retire? You know, that's basically, you know, based on your personal economy, do you have enough to meet your those expenses once you retire? You know, and it's like I said earlier, retirement really it's all about income. You have to have income that's going to, you know, keep up with inflation, and inflation is high right now. And then you also have to have income that's going to last as long as you do. But it all starts with, you know, having a plan. You have to look at your guaranteed income streams, which could be a pension, if those, you know, if you still have one of those. It's Social Security, and then you look at your retirement expenses. And generally, there is a gap between your guaranteed income streams and your retirement expenses. And then you generally fill that gap of what you have saved for retirement and 401ks, IRAs, company retirement plans. And those are the things that you need to make sure that you have enough, that you've accumulated enough to bridge that gap to take you from where you are to where you want to be in retirement.
Okay, got another question. I think we could squeeze it in real quickly. Is it a good time to do a Roth conversion? This comes from Mary of Louisville. Quick answer on that one. Yes, no?
The answer is yes. A couple of different reasons. One is just the fact that from a tax standpoint, you know, you put money in that Roth IRA, it grows tax-free, and you can take it out tax-free. We're in a down market right now, so you could literally take your income or your investments right now that are down, transfer them, convert them into that Roth, and now, as we know, the market is cyclical. It will come back. Now, when they come back, they're coming back tax-free, and you're never going to have to pay taxes on those.
I like that. Oh, this is good advice.
that.
Okay, so if you're right now listening, you go, boy, this resonates with me. This is good, strong financial advice to secure my retirement. Warren Wealth Management. For folks who have questions, maybe on another episode, where can they go? And if they'd like a 15-minute conversation with you, Marcus, what do they need to do?
They can go to talktomarcus.com. My calendar pops up, sets up a 15-minute phone call. We can find out where you are, where you want to be, and see if we're a good fit.
All right, strategies to help you with a successful retirement, whether it be healthcare, we've talked about taxes, whether it be, you know, hey, is it now time to make a Roth conversion? That's good information courtesy of Marcus Warren. All right, we'll take a little break, and then we shall return right here on Wave Listens.